Hi guys, it's Mrs. Piekarski, and today we're going to read chapter 3 of The Magic School Bus and the Giant Germ. So if you listen to chapter 2 with us, oh my goodness, somebody's driving by and it's a little loud. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but anyway, in chapter 2 when we left off, the Magic School Bus, they were inside Keisha's sandwich, and a big 4th grader was about to step on them because she didn't see them. So let's see what happens in chapter 3. I told you I always have bad luck, Arnold groaned. And now it's rubbing off on us, said Ralphie. To the bus, everyone, Miss Frizzle instructed. We didn't have to be told twice. We all ran for the Magic School Bus, pronto. As I scrambled in, a dark shadow fell over us. I looked out the window and saw the gigantic sole of the girl's sneaker right above the bus. No, I cried. I waited for the sneaker to come crashing down on us, but at the last second, the girl paused. What's this doing on the ground? She said. Everyone cheered as the 4th grader picked up my sandwich and tossed it into her bag. I guess your luck is changing for the better, Arnold, I said. Boy, was I wrong. A few moments later, we all bounced around inside the Magic School Bus as the giant 4th grader emptied the scrap of food from her bag into the recycling bin. Yuck, said Phoebe. She pointed at the bits of bread, orange peel, and dead leaves that were crammed against the windows of the bus. We were never thrown in with the trash at my old school. This might look like trash to you, said the Frizz, but to microbes, it's a feast. You mean microbes are eating the food in this bin the same way they were eating my bread? I asked. That's right. Take a look. Miss Frizzle touched a button on the dashboard and the bus got a little bigger. We were still pretty small, but now we could see a little farther over the tops of the fungi, like the ones on my bread. It's microbe mania out there, Arnold said, and he wasn't kidding either. All around us were tons of fungi and plenty of other microbes too. We saw some of the same kinds of creatures we'd seen floating in the air. Balls, rods, and spirals. Only here, millions of each kind were all piled together. Those are bacteria, Miss Frizzle told us. Just like fungi, they need to be around plant or animal matter that they can use for food. Hundreds of different kinds of microbes are at work here. They're making enzymes that break down the old food in plants into food that the microbes can absorb. So that means that they're breaking it down and eating it for themselves. That means microbes are making big changes to the things around them, DA added. After the enzymes do their work, all this stuff turns into carbon dioxide gas. Miss Frizzle steered the Magic School Bus across the food, leaves, and branches in the compost bin, and it was like a gigantic jungle. Microbes were plastered all over everything. Fungi and bacteria were producing enzymes that made old food and leaves and branches decay. That means break down. They made them kind of fall apart in a way. As everything rotted, we could see carbon dioxide gas bubble up into the air. But that wasn't all. We could also see waves of heat rising off the compost. Why is it so hot in here? Ralphie asked, wiping his brow. I'm sweating. It takes a lot of energy to turn all of this food and grass and leaves into carbon dioxide gas, Miss Frizzle explained. These microbes are working so hard that they actually make the air heat up. Miss Frizzle turned the wheel and the bus began to burrow into the food and leaves. Near the top, the food scraps and plants hadn't changed very much, but further down, it all just looked like brown mush. Yee-haw, the Frizz cried as the bus slid around on the stuff. You call this fun? Phoebe asked. She was clutching the seat in front of her. According to my research, microbes have been at work longer down here, DA said. The food and branches and stuff have already totally broken down into this brown mush. So when microbes break down food, like my bread, it is a good thing, I said. Microbes are the best waste management program on the planet, said Miss Frizzle. Without them, old food and plants and animals would all just pile up. But with microbes, they break down into this mush. "It's a rotten job," said Carlos. "Luckily, microbes are very good at it." So he just made a little joke there. We all groaned. Carlos. Microbes are always changing their environment because that's how they get the food they need to grow and make more of themselves. Miss Frizzle went on. "Sure, a few microbes do damage when they grow inside people or on plants, but many, many more microbes do good." So she's saying, yeah, the microbes that make us sick or that hurt plants aren't good, but so many more of them are doing good things for our environment and the planet around us. DA said, "According to my book, some bacteria actually clean up toxic waste. They use poisons like oil, pesticides, and methane gas for food and break them down into simpler materials that don't hurt the environment." Wow, I said. Hearing so many good things about microbes was making me feel lucky to have those microscopic creatures around. "What about that microbe over there?" Carlos asked. "What's it doing?" He pointed to a long, hairy-looking creature that was headed our way. "That is a kind of protozoa," Miss Frizzle said. A protozoa is different from the other microbes we've seen. They're not like fungi and bacteria. A protozoa can swallow its food without breaking it down first. Does anyone else have the feeling that the protozoa thinks we're a snack?" Arnold asked. The protozoa looked like it was crawling on its tiny hairs as it came closer to the magic school bus. Fortunately, we were quicker than it was. Miss Frizzle hit the gas and we were out of there in a flash. "Faster than a speeding microbe," Carlos said as the bus zoomed upward. We were back at the top of the bin in no time. "Phew," I said. Luck was on our side this time. I should have known it was too good to last. A loud buzzing sound made me look up. Uh-oh, flies. Dozens of flies swarmed over our heads. We were so small that their big bulging eyes seemed enormous. Their hairy black legs had microbes stuck all over them. Every time one of the flies buzzed towards us, my stomach did a flip. All of a sudden, a fly landed with its leg on top of the magic school bus and began to eat from the bin. "I guess microbes aren't the only creatures that like to chow down on leftovers," Tim said. "Gross," said Arnold. But that wasn't nearly as gross as what happened when the fly flew off. "We're stuck to the fly's foot," Phoebe cried. As the fly buzzed up into the air, the magic school bus, with all of us inside, went with it. And that's the end of chapter 4. They have a picture, though, of the fly flying away, and you can just see the magic school bus stuck to the bottom, right where my finger is. So that's the end of chapter 3. So you'll have to come back next time to see what happens in chapter 4 if they can get away from this fly that's taken them. So that's the magic school bus and the giant germ. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time with chapter 4. Bye, guys.